Okay, so a SANY dealer that we are implementing brought to our attention that they are running into issues receiving SANY parts, particularly their oil filters. So, as you know, they purchase these filters from China. So there's often times where they'll order one part number, they'll receive the same part, but it'll be entirely different part number from an entirely different manufacturer. To help with this issue, we've developed a receive as function on the item dashboard. So to accomplish this, we would want to link, non-SANY parts with a SANY part number. So essentially creating a parent-child relationship with the SANY part number, as well as the alternate part numbers that are of other brands. So just to show you how this works, I'm going to pull up two part numbers, one for Yanmar and one for SANY. So these two part numbers here are really the same parts, but this SANY dealer of ours has identified that there's a lot of times where they'll order 602-73112 from SANY, and then they'll receive the Yanmar 119-005-35170. So if I go to the Yanmar part number and edit it, and go down to this purchasing section of manage item information, I will see that there is this receive as option. So in this receive as option, you would want to select the SANY part number. This is going to be your parent part number, and this is how the two parts are going to be linked. So what I'm going to do here is create two purchase orders, one for SANY, where I'm going to order this item number 602-73112, and then I'll also create a PO for the Yanmar part number. So first things first, I'm going to go plus new part purchase order. I'm going to indicate that we're purchasing from SANY. Next, I'm going to add my item. And then also I'm just going to add like another part number as well. So let's just add like a belt for SANY as well. And next I'm going to add my items to the PO. Now, one thing to note is just through that parent-child relationship, once the parts are linked, you would be able to, filter on those child parts, so the non-SANY parts. And so what I mean by that is, maybe jumping ahead a little bit, but if I go to my item filter here, I can see that the parent part is populating. So in those scenarios, if that Yanmar part number comes in, it will always roll up underneath the SANY part. So in this scenario, when the other part comes in, you don't really need to be concerned with substituting the parts. Since they're linked together, once they're received, it will always roll up underneath the SANY part number. So I'm going to go to actions marked ordered and create a new voucher. So let's say this Yanmar part number comes in. We'll want to go to our item column, filter on that Yanmar part number, and then just receive it underneath the SANY part. So through this filtering, we just have the receiver focusing on the SANY part number. Yes, the Yanmar part will still have a record of it, but it will all roll up underneath the SANY part number. So now let's go through the other scenario where, this Yanmar part number is actually ordered, but we want to just show how it will, roll up underneath SANY. So common usage of that is, part special ordered, the Yanmar part comes in, but we still want all the quantities to be rolled up under that SANY parent part number. So I'm going to create a new part purchase order. Hit save. And here I'm going to search my Yanmar part number. I'll also add in another part. So just do another belt bend and hit add items. So here we have that part that's linked to our parent part. So if I filter by our parent part, oops, I can see that it's through the linkage, it knows that these two parts are linked. So if I go to actions marked ordered and create a new receiving voucher, when I go to receive this EMR part number and hit receive, I will see up here that this will be received as 602-73112, thus indicating that these parts will roll up underneath that parent SANY number. So that way you're not having to substitute parts. You're not having to worry about, a Yanmar part or Cummins part or Dude's part. It will all just be rolled up underneath one singular part number, which is going to be the SANY part number. This alleviates stress for your receivers, as they only have to be concerned with the SANY part number, the part that they're typically ordering. And furthermore, it alleviates, just from an inventory perspective, understanding that you can have the same part number or the same part underneath one part number. So yeah, that's really it.
Perfect. Okay, all good.